Fight Film. This is the last full-length film study that's planned for the YouTube channel as of now. Full film studies and analysis, as well as live film studies, will all be on Patreon from now on. Right now, there's a 7-day free trial for you to check out the work, and if you love the content, it's just $3 for the month. The URL is up right here. The links will be in the description and pinned to the top of the comment section. See y'all there. Class in session. Hypothetically, Errol Spence's jab can pose a real problem for Terrence Crawford. Assuming the fight is closed stance, since both fight out the southpaw stance versus southpaws, Errol has a great power jab, fundamentally solid, fast, and strong. Errol won't pose exactly the same problem that Brook did against Crawford, as his jab is based off excellent timing, while Spence's jab is typically a volume jab. It won't be as accurate, but what it can do is offset Crawford's rhythm, as he's known to be a rhythm fighter, as well as up the pace. Errol has thrown more jabs in fights than Crawford has thrown punches. Since we haven't seen Crawford face a dominant southpaw jab, Errol's jab is the X factor in the fight. Crawford's jab defense is going to have to be on point. He's shown different ways to deal with the southpaw jab in the past, including step backs, high shields, parrying, catching, pulls, and reverse shuffles. If it's not on point, Errol typically uses the jab to set up his backhands in basic or fundamental combinations like the jab cross and the double jab cross. The landed jab typically freezes an opponent so the backhand can come behind it and do damage. Early in fights, while Crawford is still trying to figure out range and timing, he has been susceptible to these exact combinations. However, the main benefit of Errol getting his jab going is that's how he closes distance to get to the inside, which is his best position by far. Basic or fundamental skills turn into high-level skills once he closes that gap with an effective jab. Whether single or double jab, Errol's opponents are typically preoccupied or frozen, then they shell up, or in other words, Errol forces up the shields with the jab. Without controlling the space in front of them in the high guard, it's an easy step in for Errol where he can go to work. On the flip side, Crawford's signature combination as a southpaw is the 2-1, aka a cross swivel jab. The swivel jab is simply a jab thrown with lead hand hook mechanics. It's the only jab that's considered a power punch by many. Sometimes Crawford elects for a throwaway cross, sometimes it's a hard cross, however it's always a powerful swivel jab. The issue Errol will have with that combination is his use of the lead hand elbow shield versus southpaws. The elbow shield is simply a high shield where the glove pins or rotates the top of the head. While utilizing the elbow shield, Errol tucks or turns his head to block back hands as he parries lead hands with his own backhand. While the elbow shield is effective in specific situations like on the inside, there are still issues with blocking back hands, but staying on topic, the tuck in leaves a clear opening for the swivel jab. Fight Fam. If you're wondering who's fighting next on a card, or if you never want to miss a fight, Boxing Showtimes is a dope app. It's basically a professional boxing schedule in your pocket that keeps you up to date on what's going on in the world of boxing. They even have interactive maps with your local boxing bars displaying the fights. You can set reminders for fights, buy tickets to fights, watch official highlights, get boxing news, and a lot more. Download it now. Thank me later. Very similar to Spence, Crawford has also utilized the tactic of forcing a high guard with jabs, then attacking openings around the high guard, a tactic that's potentially very important because Arrow is a fighter that normally defaults to the high guard when opponents initiate offense, especially in combination. In this fight, countering the jab should be pivotal. Arrow isn't typically known as a counterpuncher. He typically waits in the high guard until his opponents are done initiating from the outside and uses his legs to get out of dodge. But where he has shown good ability against southpaws is with the counter jab, whether it's a slight half-step pull counter or a catch-and-shoot counter. When Crawford was utilizing the tactic of forcing a shell up against Felix Diaz, he ate a few counter jabs in the process. Crawford, on the other hand, is known as an elite counterpuncher against either stance fighter. Crawford has a myriad of jab counters that he's developed against his southpaw opponents, some of which that have already had a degree of success against Arrow. How each fighter utilizes the jab and deals with the opposing jab is likely the most important factor in determining who is successful and who fails in the majority of exchanges. That means the jab may have the most significant impact on the outcome of the fight, or in other words, the jab is the X factor. For a more complete look at all the X's and O's of the fight, make sure you check out the other Crawford and Spence film studies on the channel. Peace.